I can easily tell you, I'm a top motivational speaker.
Trent Shelton now sharing the life lessons he learned.
I can easily tell you, I played in the NFL, and I'm a Baylor legend.
Trent Shelton, touchdown, Baylor!
I can easily tell you, I have over 10 million followers and over 1 billion video views. I can easily tell you, I traveled all across the world and inspired people.
Love each other, man, period. At the end of the day, we all going to the same place, straight up.
But I'm not here to impress you with numbers. I'm here to impact your life. So if you're ready to make the world respect your greatness, tell the person sitting next to you, it's rehab time. Let's get it.
Fort Myers, welcome, Trent Shelton!
I'm prolific, so gifted. I'm the type that's gon' go get it. No kidding. Breaking down the steps in front of your building. Sitting on the steps, feeling no feelings.
Here we go. Y'all can sit down.
Last night it was a cold killing.
Thank you for the love. I appreciate it. How y'all doing? If y'all feel good, say. So this is how we're going to do this, all right? Just to make sure I'm keeping y'all's attention, when I say let's, you say get it. Let's try this right quick, all right? Let's. There we go, man. This is insane. Y'all gonna just. Man. So real quick before we dive into this, it's just crazy because as soon as I landed, I had my driver. I want to tell this quick story just on how you guys have showed up for this. So I had my driver, and it's crazy when I say this because I'm a speaker, but I really don't like to talk much. So my driver, he really liked to talk, right? He was like talking his butt off. And so he's telling me all this information, which is crazy. Like, I'm not going to say the rapper's name because y'all might know him, but he's like, I just drove this rapper around, 3 weeks ago. They had an event at the Hurt Center, and he was telling me, like, all the drugs and stuff he was doing. I'm like, man, I'm not telling you any of my business. Like, you just talk at all. And so he asked me, what did I do? And so I always get this response when I tell people what I do. So I told him, I was like, hey, I'm a speaker. And he stopped and looked back and was like, I thought you were like a football player or something, a speaker. He's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, self-worth, motivation, etc. And I was like, I'm speaking at the Hurt Center. He said, oh, okay, cool. He was like, well, this was yesterday. He was like, I don't know what's going on there today, but I just hope that it's cleared out for you tomorrow. All right? I promise. And so I was like, well, actually, like, I'm part of that event that's going on there today. And he was like, well, what's the event? And I was like, have you heard of Rachel Hollis and Dave Hollis? He's like, no, I haven't heard of them. And I was like, well, she has a crazy #1 selling book. I mean, sold millions of copies. Girl, Wash Your Face. Right? Girl, Stop Apologizing. And he said, oh, cool. He was like, well, I'm just going to tell my son to go there tomorrow. And I was like, well, I don't think he'll be able to get in. And at the end of the day, like, it was crazy because he even said this too. He was like, before I told him who it was, he was like, I don't know if it's Michelle Obama there. I don't know who's speaking there. I was like, well, it's pretty much like Michelle Obama. I mean, so make some noise for Rachel. Make some noise for Rachel. Rachel for president. So, if you never, any of y'all heard me speak before, anybody familiar? Okay, cool. So, great. So, this is the thing, okay? I promise you, I might say some stuff that makes you uncomfortable, but I'm saying things out of love. And I'm going to tell you to write down a lot of notes. You're probably not going to have enough room, but you're going to write down a lot of notes today, I promise you. But I want you to understand this right now. You got to stop leaving your life up to chance. And what I mean by that, a lot of us, what we're doing is that we're just going through life through the motions. And I know a lot of you've already made this decision because you're here, but you got to make a choice with your life, period. I told my son this the other day, and I can either get the best father of the world or the worst father of the world. Just depends on how you look at this. But I told Tristan, because ever since he was little, and I don't agree with this, maybe it's just because I'm an athlete, but they give away these participation trophies. And ribbons when you get like 88th place. I'm I'm like, Tristan, you lost, okay? I don't want you to. And when I first told him that, like, he was about to cry. And I'm like, oh, man, let me fix this. And I said, Tristan, I want you to understand something. The reason I'm telling you this is because I don't want you to be okay with just losing and accepting that in life. I don't want you just to be okay with just showing up and know people going to pat you on your back just because you show up. Because in life, I'm going to tell you right now, they're not going to give out participation trophies for you. This world ain't gonna take it easy on you. And a lot of us in here, if we're being honest, I was this person too. So when I'm talking to you from a place of experience. A lot of us, for the last decade, 2019, 2018, 2017, we just been participating in life. We just been showing up, going through the motions. You know how I feel about a new year, but it is a new year. So this year, 2020, like for real, is no more participating, it's dominating. I want you to make up your mind because there's nothing more powerful in the world than a made-up mind, negative or positive. Some of us have made up our mind that our life is over when your life could be just beginning. Make up your mind that this is the moment. And listen, inspiration is not enough. I know that you're here, and this might seem like the most demotivating thing to say in the world, but inspiration is not enough. It's not. When you leave here, I promise you're going to be on fire. You're excited. But the question that I always ask people is, who's going to show up 3 months from now? Who's going to show up a year from now? Who's going to show up in July? Who's going to show up in next December? Who is going to show up? We make all these decisions when we have an emotional high. So I like to say this, application creates transformation. So if I'm you in here at this conference, I'm dancing, I'm getting hyped, right? Because that's a part of it. But I'm thinking to myself, how can I apply these things to my life? Act. Application creates transformation because without action, nothing in your life is going to change. If y'all feel that, say, let's. Let's. Where's my, okay, can we pull this up right quick? So I want to talk about becoming the greatest you today, okay? And listen, there is a you inside of you. I promise you this, that you haven't even met yet. There is a you inside of you that is beyond anything that you can understand. But what a lot of us we do is we live in our limited mindset. We think about all the reasons why we can't be something. We see our impossibilities, and so I want to erase that mindset right now. No more excuses. The only impossibilities that exist are the ones that you create. Tell your neighbor, say, stop using those excuses. You have a choice. Either you can make moves or you can make excuses. And what excuses do, because I used to be this guy, excuses make you feel great about doing nothing about your life. So there's 4 things that I need you to stop right now, okay? Write these down. Number 1, stop talking yourself out of your greatness. Stop talking yourself out of your greatness. It's time for you to remind yourself of your greatness. You might be saying, Trent, all the things that I've been through, I had a bad past, which you already own that. I had a bad childhood. I had a bad upbringing. I have bad circumstances. Don't you know all those things can work for you and not against you? Do you realize that? So remind yourself of your greatness. Remind yourself of how much that you do. Some of y'all are taking care of 6, 7, 8 kids. Right? And trust me, I have so much respect. Like, it's like we just had a baby girl named Marley, right? And so, like Marie, and I know y'all can feel this for your husbands and your whatever boyfriends, y'all make it look so easy at times. And so I'm telling Maria all this advice, and she's looking at me like, you ain't never gave birth to no child. And then she leaves me with Marley for 2 hours. And I'm like calling her like, hey, how long you going for? You coming home pretty soon, right? So think about that. Remind yourself of your greatness. And the thing that I love to do is I love to remind myself facts over feelings, FOF. You need to write down some facts about your life. And when I say greatness, understand it's just not available to some people. We all have it in us. We just have to own it. So what are the facts that you're going to write down? Maybe it's 5 things. So when those feelings come up, when those feelings of I'm not good enough come up, you should have a fact that shows you and tells you, reminds you that you're great enough. When those feelings come up of I'm not progressing in my life, you should have a fact that reminds you of how far you actually came in your life. If y'all can do that, say, let's. Number 2, stop giving people permission to place limitations on your life. I know I'm gonna get a lot of cheers on this, right? We love, I'm not gonna talk about the BC mindset, but we love to deflect everything on everybody else. But I will tell you this, you're allowing them to control your life. It's so crazy because we allow people that have never done it to tell us what we can't do. We allow people who have never been it, right? Who have never became it to tell us what we can't be. And so what we do a lot of times is we take advice from people who are unsuccessful at what we're trying to be successful at. Please, stop taking advice from the wrong people. And you got to understand this when it comes to your vision. This is on my heart to say this. When it comes to your vision, when it comes to your dreams, when it comes to when you go home, you're going to be excited. You're going to tell everybody about it. And most people are going to look at you like you're crazy. I remember when I told people that I would go from speaking in the library with 15 people to arenas. Yeah, right, Trent. That only happens to certain type of people. I remember when I first started making my videos go look at my Instagram, 2009. When I didn't know what I was doing. But I decided to start with my life, and so many people didn't understand it. Stop expecting people to understand what was given to your heart. If y'all feel that, say straight up. Number 3, stop accepting the can'ts, as I like to say, the can'ts in your life. One of the most powerful things that I feel like I do, and it's not really powerful, anybody can do it, is I don't accept can'ts. And so anytime, is something happening? Huh? I'm about to tell y'all what that means, right? When you say I can't do something, that's a can't, right? And how many of you have so many things that you say you can't do and you accept it? I don't let those things control my life. I don't let those things that I cannot do this or I won't do this or it's impossible for me. And where there are so many times where we get in this position and we never challenge it. So the challenge I have for you, because you have to build this muscle of possibility. Because if you let impossibilities control your life, you will never move forward with your life. So if you say, I can't run a half marathon, go run a half marathon. You might be like me when I was with Dave and Rachel. Tired, asking myself, why am I doing this? And Rachel and Dave just laughing and smiling and talking while they running, right? Dave, let's go, right? I'm like, let's stop. But what happened was, When I did that, guess what happened? I grew possibility in my life. So some of you, maybe you're a speaker. Maybe you want to write a book, whatever it is for you. And some of you say, like, the number one fear in the world, obviously we know this, is public speaking. Oh, I can't speak in front of people. As soon as you say, I can't, go do it. What's the worst that can happen? You fail, and failure only exists when you stop trying. So you learn, you get better, you grow. But if you never step foot, if you never take the first step on your journey, I promise you'll never get to the finish lines in your life. Number 4. This is a big one. Stop letting perception control your life. We live in a time on social media where everybody is putting out their highlights, and nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm not telling you to wake up and post a picture. Actually, do it. But wake up and post a picture as soon as you woke up. I really woke up like this and not just saying that, all right? But we're so controlled by perception, how people perceive us. And I think one of the worst ways to live life is faking up perfection. It's okay to struggle. It's okay to not have it all together. It's okay to go through hard times, not stay there, but it's okay. It's okay to have weak moments. Understand this fact. You're not weak because you have weak moments. You're weak if you're admitting that you have none. People need your story. And I'm sorry I get passionate about this. People need the real you. People need what you went through. I wouldn't be able to do what I do if I would have hid everything. Your transparency will lead to your transformation. Your transparency will lead to other people's transformation. But you will never fix what you're not willing to face. You can't heal by standing in denial. You will never win your war by running from your battles. So I know a lot of you made the decision yesterday to face it. But in life, as things keep coming, because trust me, things are going to come up. Obstacles, challenges, and you know this. Don't run from it, run towards it. Because that's where true strength is built. There's somebody in the world depending on you. And this might be the wrong word to say, but I'm going to say it. Stop being selfish. By hiding your struggles, that's selfish. But Trent, people are going to judge me. Don't you know people judging you anyway? Right? No matter how perfect you are, people are judging you. Especially parenting online, Lord. I post a picture of my daughter, it's like, you're not holding her right. Right? Needs to be 2 degrees higher, Trent. Right? The first step to unhappiness is trying to please everyone else. If y'all got that, say, let's. Yeah. Let's. Yeah. Second thing. Man, I'm going to lose some followers after this one. I just got to be straight up with you. I always get emails too, not necessarily from Rob's events, but anytime I talk about stuff like this, I get long emails. It's like, oh my, it's long. But I just want to say this fact. You deserve exactly what you're choosing to settle for. There's 2 things that I feel like in life that we are in control of. 2 main things. Number 1 is what you give, and we're not going to talk about that today, right? What you give to the world, nobody can stop you from doing that but you. But the second thing that I want to talk about in this part is You are in control of what you accept. You are in control of what you allow in your life. Nobody, nothing, no situation can control your life without your permission. There's no way I can give you something, right, at all. No way. If I was like, I use this analogy, if I was like, hey, drink this poison, drink it, and unless I put a gun to your head, which I never would do, but if I was like, drink this poison, drink it, what would you do? Right, you look at me like I was crazy, right? Why? It's poison. You know it would kill you. So let me ask you this. Why do we continuously accept emotional poisons in our life? That are killing our dreams, that are killing our spirit, that are killing our soul, that are killing our life. What's these emotional poisons? Somebody giving you less than what you deserve, and you continue to accept it. You are in control of that. Just like the physical poison, if somebody or something in life, whatever it is, this world, this society, whatever it is, the standards they try to put on your life, you don't have to accept it. A lot of you know my story. You know people try to put standards on my life, especially in this space of personal development. I don't look like most speakers. I don't. And that's why me and Rachel connected so well, because she's an outcast. When we go speak at places, she's the only woman, right? And I'm usually the only black guy with dreads and tattoos. And there were so many people trying to make me accept things, trying to make me feel like I'm not enough. But I kept reminding myself of those facts. Now I know I'm enough. I know I'm created enough. And so I focused on what I could control. So many of us were so focused on what we can't control, we allow the things that we can't control to control us. What can you control? You can control how you show up. You can control not listening to people's opinions. I know it's hard. I know we always say, I don't care about what people think. We hear what people think, but just don't care enough to have it stop your greatness or stop your progression. Y'all got that? Say, let's. Yeah. Let's. Yeah. 3 questions that I need you to know the answers to, right? Well, actually, I don't need it. You need to know the answers to. 3 things, 3 questions. And these are questions that I ask myself very often, and it can help you. And I'm trying to give you stuff that really, when you leave here, like Rachel's probably been doing this whole conference, when you leave here, you actually can apply it to your life, right? So the first question, when it comes to you deserving exactly what you settle for, what standards, this is you talking to yourself, what standards do I have to live in order to create the life that I say that I want? What standards do I have to live in order to create the life that I say that I want? We just got into 2020. I hate being on social media for the first month of 2020. Because there are a lot of people that's talking it that's not going to live it. New year, new me mindset. A lot of us, we set goals. And I don't want you to think bad about goals. I'm not saying goals are bad, but I just want to change your mindset and your perspective with this. A lot of us, we have these goals, but to be real about it, a lot of us don't even understand what it takes, the person we have to become that we're currently not, to reach those goals. Goals are something that you reach. Has anybody reached the goal before, and when they reached it, they fell off? Oh, y'all good. Or y'all just trying not to raise your hand, right? I know I've had those goals before, especially like fitness, where I've lost 20 pounds. As soon as I lost 20 pounds, I gained it right back. It's like, I made it, cool, I can kick my feet up, I can eat whatever I want, I'm just gonna stay this way forever. No, it doesn't work like that. And we live this up and down lifestyle. We live this inconsistent lifestyle. If you're trying to become the greatest you can't. You have to keep progressing with your life. And so what really helped me was developing standards. Goals are something that you reach, but standards are something that you live by. Write that down. Goals are something that you reach. Standards are something that you live by. So what do you mean by this, Trent? How about you make the goal, right? You make it a goal to make the goal you reach and become a standard in your life. So if you say, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds, which is great, nothing wrong with it. I want to gain 20 pounds, or I want to, be better in my marathon time, whatever it is for you. If that's the goal, what if the standard was, I'm just going to live a healthy lifestyle? What do you think will happen in the process? You will crush those goals. Movements come to an end. But lifestyles are forever. And as a side note, you have to understand this when you leave here with your kids, with your family, with your friends, whatever it is that you do, with your business, whatever it is that you do, you have to understand that you are influence. I had to realize this with my life. It doesn't matter if you have a stage or 1 million followers or 1 follower. You are influence. When someone is around you, how do you influence them to be? Because I'll tell you right now, mindsets are very contagious. If someone was around you, how would you rub off on them? Think about that for a second. Like, I'm insane with it. Like, when I'm running, that's the thing that helps me run these miles that I don't want to run. I'm like, man, I do not want to stop. I want somebody who runs by me or sees me running to be like, man, I got to keep pushing. Your influence. If I was around you for 24 hours, what would your life say? Not the quotes that we post, because that's great. But anybody can talk it. Anybody can type it. Anybody can post it. If someone was around you for 24 hours and your life couldn't say one word, right? Audibly, what would your actions say? Would it still say you're about that life? Would it still say you're about taking your life to the next level? Would it still say you're about making the world respect your greatness? Would it still say you're about not settling for less? Everybody say, I am. Influence. How many parents we got in here? Your influence. Your choices will become your child's consequences. That's why I'm so passionate about helping people break through, because I'm tired of these generational curses. We always blame this generation. We see it so many times. Oh, this generation. Who do you think are the teachers of this generation? It's going to get quiet in here. I know it is. And this should motivate you. For parents in here, if you don't have parents, the people around you, it's simply this, like, your kids aren't listening to what you say for the most part. And y'all know that. They're watching what you do. So you can't tell them about going for their dreams if you're settling for yours. I know it's not a relationship conference, but I will say this too. Your relationship is the first example of love that your kids will ever will see. I'm going to stop right there. If y'all feel that, say, let's get it. Third thing. Oh, number 2, my bad. I'm giving y'all some. Are y'all getting this? All right. Hold on, I got to make sure. Can we go back? Because I did skip. There we go. All right. Number 1. Can we scroll up a little bit? There we go. All right. Number 1 was, what standards do I have to live in order to create the life that I say I want? Man, I'm so bad with notes, because I just love to go from the heart. I'm so bad with it. Number 2, all right, write this down. What have I been given life to that has not been given life to me? What have I been given life to that has not been given life to me? AKA, what do you have in your life that needs to be removed? What do you have in your life that is causing your peace to be disrupted? What do you have in your life that is causing you to second guess your worth? And I know a lot of times we think about people, but it isn't always people. Maybe it's certain habits, which Rachel's going to talk to you about habits in a little bit. Third thing. What's going to be the reason why I can't settle for less any longer? I like to talk about a word called commitment, and a lot of you probably know that I talk about it a lot. Right? Commitment is staying loyal to what you said you were going to do long after the mood you said has left you. That's commitment. It's staying loyal to what you said you were going to do long after the mood you said has left you. In a Trent term, I would just say, when it gets real, what's going to happen in your life? You have to find a rooted reason on why you're not going to settle anymore. And it has to be something that's deep. It can't be a surface level solution. That's easy. Surface level solutions don't last. It has to be something that survives the storms. It has to be something that survives the setbacks. It has to be something that survives the challenges. A rooted reason. Maybe it's for your family. Maybe it's to help victims. Maybe it's to, as in my case, it was a promise that I made to my best friend that committed suicide, that I would live the rest of my days helping people with self-worth. So when it gets hard, which it does, don't get it confused. Because a lot of us, we see people on the stage and we think we have it all figured out. The reason why we talk so much is because we have so many questions. But this has allowed me to show up for the last decade because I have a rooted reason on why I'm not going to settle in my life anymore. If y'all feel that, say, let's. Yeah. Let's. Yeah. Third thing that we're going to talk about. It's the fourth? You sure? No, this is third. Third, fourth, either way. Sometimes you have to make decisions that will hurt your heart but heal your soul. But Trent, it's too hard. I don't want to go through this uncomfortable feeling of my life of letting go of something. I don't want to go through this uncomfortable feeling of starting something new. I don't want to go through this uncomfortable feeling of healing. Understand this about healing. For one, healing is not an overnight process, it's an overtime process. And sometimes healing is a lifelong process. But the thing that helped me is I realized this. Life is hard regardless. Settling for less is hard. Moving on is hard. Accepting less is hard. Moving towards the greatest you is hard. But one of these hards, right? The limiting hard, the settling for less and all those things, that's a permanent hard. There's no hope for change in that. Because we know nothing changes without making changes, period. So if I'm you, I'm choosing the hard that I would rather go through an unknown path than keep my life in the known pain. Even if it's just the hope for peace, the hope for change. When I started my journey, I didn't know I would be doing this. You would have said, Trent's a speaker, I would have told you, yeah, right. But I knew where I didn't want to stay with my life. And this is a decision that I make every single day, every single year. I don't always know where I'm moving on to, but I promise you this, I for sure know where I'm no longer going to keep my life and where I know I'm not going to stay. Some of us were stuck. Some of us were stuck because we don't understand the how. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know how I'm going to survive. I don't know. And we allow the I don't know to keep us in a place that we know is not meant for our life. The reason why a lot of us are frustrated at times and a lot of us are depressed It's because we're allowing these silent battles to control our life. Y'all know what a silent battle is, right? It's crying out for help without saying a word. It's wanting people to understand you without saying anything. So just please, no matter how impossible it may seem, no matter how hard it gets, just keep moving forward with your life. If y'all got that, say straight up. Straight up. So you might be thinking, Trent, well, how do I make this decision, right? Give me some tips, give me some tactics. Well, 3 things, and I promise you it's 3. 3 things that help me make hard decisions in my life, okay? And you can come up with your own. There's plenty ways, but this is 3 things that help me. Number 1, I have a conversation with my future self. And the thing that I realize is that you have to make decisions today that your future self will thank you for, not hate you for. So when I'm talking to the 80-year-old, 90-year-old, 120-year-old, because I plan to live that long, Trent, and I have these conversations, what should I do? The future me always tells me, if it's something that's toxic, let it go. Because when you get 90, you don't want to live your whole life with regret. You don't want to look back and realize that you wasted your whole life waiting on someone to show up that wasn't trying to show up. You wasted your whole life being controlled by people's opinions, so you never went for it. And that future me says, when you get my age, like, you know most of the people that you're probably trying to impress going to be dead, or they ain't going to be checking on you anyway? That's a tip. The people on social media that you're trying to impress, that you care so much about that you don't even know, it's crazy. They probably won't be at your funeral. So have that conversation with your future self. Second thing that helps me make hard decisions. What is the consistency telling me? Words can lie. Actions can lie. But consistency always speaks the truth. Patterns always speak the truth. So if I have something in my life that I know is not right for me, I allow my principles, the things that I stand for, the things that I am so big on, loyalty, respect, all these principles to make decisions for me. Because feelings will come up. Feelings are real, but feelings aren't always right. So pay attention to the consistency. The third thing is I love this part because this really gets me in the mindset of growth. What do I add to my life by subtracting this from my life? Maybe it's peace that you add to your life. Maybe it's sanity that you add to your life. Maybe it's growth that you add to your life. But as long as you're keeping things, and listen, I don't want y'all to think that I'm talking about people and you go home, you cut everybody out your life. Again, we got to look within ourselves. Because some of us, we have some habits that don't serve our life. I know I did. So when I stopped trying to live a certain lifestyle, when I stopped trying to impress other people, whether it be buying things that I couldn't afford to impress other people, whether it be faking a lifestyle that I knew wasn't me to impress other people, once I subtracted those things from my life, I automatically added positive things to my life. So what are the things that you got to subtract? What are the things that you can no longer have surviving in your life? Because if you're going to make the world respect your greatness, you got to make that decision. And I know it's hard. I know it might seem, I don't know what my life is going to be, but that can't be your excuse anymore. Because it's time for you to be the greatest you. You feel that? Say, let's. Fourth thing. No, like, this is like the fourth quote, not the fourth thing. I see what you are getting at now, okay, because I'm saying fourth thing is for, like, it's broken down. Like, the things I'm talking about, 1, 2, 3, those are sub-tasks, right? That's what it is. This is the fourth major point, all right? Y'all get it now? Okay, cool. I was like, what are y'all talking about? Like, do y'all see something I don't see? Fourth thing, I want you to understand, you're a choice away. A choice away from a new beginning and a commitment away from a new life. Please feel that in your heart. A choice away from a new beginning and a commitment away from a new life. Not making a choice is still making a choice. Not making a decision is still making a decision. And one of the superpowers that you have, or two of the superpowers that you have, is one is faith. And one that I want to spend a little bit of time on before I get off this stage is consistency. Consistency will literally change your life. And the thing that helps me with consistency is understanding this. Life is not about perfection. Life is about progression. And I know I'm about to step on a lot of your toes right now. But how many people here have a consistency problem? Yeah. Thanks for being real. Well, I'm about to solve this problem for you. Y'all ain't gonna be cheering after I tell y'all this, all right? I still struggle with consistency at times. I do. I'm a human being. But I've progressed and I'm proud of myself. But there's times in my life, in my past, that I really struggle with consistency. And so I was trying to figure this out, like, why am I not consistent with my life in certain things that I say I want to do? Like, why am I not consistent at going for my vision? Why am I not consistent at, taking care of my health? Why am I not consistent at all these things? And these words popped up into my heart, and I didn't want to hear them. You ever tell yourself something that you don't want to hear? These words came to my heart and said, Trent, it don't mean that much to you. The reason why you're not consistent is because it doesn't mean that much to you. And some of you are thinking right now, that's a lie. It means a lot to me. Well, let's have a little debate. Can we do that a little bit? How many of you in here, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it, are in a situation can be a big, broad spectrum, all right? Because somebody might see this online, okay? How many of you are in a situation that at some point in your life, whatever it is, it might be something that you're doing, something that you don't like, whatever. How many of you are in a situation and you've been consistent at it that you don't like? Right? How many of you, don't raise your hand, just wink at me, so I don't want you to get fired. How many of you are at a job that you hate, but you show up to it every single day? Like, I know people's gonna raise their hands like, I'm trying to get fired now. I don't care, Trent. Cool. I've already been motivated. I was putting in my 2 weeks already. I text them at lunch. I'm done. How many of you, and some of you might be scholars and you love school, right? That's just not me. How many of you went to school, right? High school, even college, and you hated it, but you still went? Every single day. So this is what baffles me in life. How can we be consistent at the things that we hate, but we can't be consistent at the things that we say we love? I'll tell you why. It's because what's going to happen if you don't show up to that job that you hate? You're going to get fired, right? Or you're going to get in a lot of trouble. I know if my employees don't show up to mine, they're getting fired, right? I love them, though, but they would never do that. So you get fired. Let's go down this path. So you get fired. What happens if you get fired? What's the next thing that happens? Right? You have no money, right? You're broke. And then what happens after that? You can't pay your bills. You can't pay your bills. You don't have a house to live in. You don't have a house to live in, and maybe your family suffers. Like, you understand vividly what is going to happen if you don't show up. You know exactly what is going to happen if you don't show up. That's why you're consistent at the things that you hate. The reason why you're not showing up for certain things in your life that you love is that you don't understand what's going to happen if you don't show up because you never experienced it. That's why I said at the beginning of this speech that there's people depending on you to show up. One of the most powerful things that you can do is visualize vividly. It's to see your future self. You ask Rachel, I'm sure she's seen herself on stages like this. I know she did. At some point in her life. At some point in my life, I saw myself, my videos impacting people. I didn't know it would impact people like it did, but I saw myself. And so when you start to feel it, you start to realize how much it costs when you don't show up in your life every single day. So again, you don't have a consistency problem, you got a commitment problem. Told y'all I wasn't getting no cheers after I told y'all that. You have a understanding how important this is problem. You have a understanding who's dependent on you problem. Do you think you were created just to go through life? There's nothing special about me. I don't have some superhuman power. I'm an introverted person, so you can't say, Trent, you were a natural born speaker. That's a lie. The thing that I did that was genius that wasn't genius is I owned my greatness. And that's what I need you to do. Own it. And listen, this might not be for everybody. And I hope that you prove me wrong. I really do. But statistically, it might be 20 people in here that actually does something with the information that they're given that actually changes their life. Make sure you're that 20. Prove me wrong. Please, I want you to prove me wrong. But listen, do not complain about the things that you aren't willing to change. Hold on. Don't get mad when you see somebody else doing it, right? Don't get mad when you see somebody taking their life to the next level and you become bitter. You get that bitter spirit in your heart and you become a hater. I was a hater at one point in my life. Can you believe it? They gave me I had a hater card for about 6 months. Because I was bitter. Because other people were doing things that I wasn't putting in the work to do. So when you see somebody that's taking their life to the next level, just understand you got the same 24 hours as them. And maybe your 24 hours look different. But you got to stop sitting here and watching other people live their dreams. Some of us are just cool with just sitting in the crowd and watching other people do it. Some of us are just cool with just being entertained and nothing wrong with that. But I knew at an early age, people ask, how'd you make it to the NFL? I knew at an early age, I didn't want to be the person watching people. I wanted to be the person that people watch me. And I didn't know it would be in this capacity. It's time for you to check yourself into your game of life. Get out the bleachers and check yourself in your game of life and go on this journey of becoming the greatest you. Can y'all do that for me? Everybody stand on your feet. Stand on your feet. Tell your neighbor, say, check yourself in, girl. Tell your other neighbor, say, check yourself in, girl. Can I leave y'all with a few words? Cool. And I really want you just to take this in. You know, it's cool you record, I don't mind, but I really want you to take this in and feel it in your heart. And I'm just going to speak from the heart. Because I take this duty, this job that I feel God has blessed me with very serious. When I come on this stage, I'm not here just for claps and hoorays and look at me. Hopefully, I can give you something to impact your life. But I just got to be straight up with you. I know you probably know this. But every single day you have a choice. You can sing your song of greatness. Or you can let the world silence that voice. You see, people die every single day with regrets. Is that going to be you? Get into your final days of life knowing you're about to die with your dreams because you never acted on making those dreams come true. Please, I beg of you, please don't experience death knowing you settled for less. Please don't get to your final breaths of life knowing you didn't give your best. Because as you know, once life is over, it's over. There's no do-overs, it's done. So you got to stop living life like you get another shot at this, because the truth is you only get one. There will come a day when tomorrow doesn't come. So you have a choice. You can face everything and rise, or you can fear everything and run. You have a choice. You can go for it, or you can just watch it go by. But I'll tell you this, failure only exists in the heart that doesn't try. Don't be the person that lives but never feels alive. Be the person that knows the sky isn't the limit because they wasn't afraid to fly. You might not be in control of how you die, but I promise you, you're in control of how you live. Don't be the person that chooses to give up when you know in your heart that you have so much more to give. Why choose to live unfulfilled when you can choose to live great? I promise you it's possible, because only possibilities that exist are the ones you create. I guarantee you, you will miss 100% of the shots that you never take. So stop playing it safe, because only strikeout in life is not stepping up to the plate. So rise, Fort Myers. Forget someday. Forget one day. Start today. Make today or yesterday your day one. By you already being at this conference, I promise you this: the journey to becoming the greatest you has already begun. Let's rise up. Let's rise above. Let's rise together. But like I always tell you, it all starts with you. It's rehab time. Let's. I'm Trent Shelton. Thank you so much.
Fort Myers, welcome back to the stage, Rachel Hollis.
Y'all haters corny with that Illuminati mess. Paparazzi, catch my fly and my cocky fresh. I'm so reckless when I rock my Givenchy dress. I'm so possessive, so I rock his rock necklaces. My daddy